just off the bat, no Joel Edmondson out
Right.
there today. Anything you can share on that?
Not a lot. He's gone back home for family reasons, so I mean everything's fine. But he's not with us here today.
Last night you said it was about mindset and why the defensive effort wasn't there. But was it just mindset or was this a question of the team still adjusting to a new system?
No, that wasn't at all. No, it was just our willingness to play the same type of game in Ottawa that we did in Boston. That's all. I mean, you can talk about puck battles, you can talk about foot races, and then take all the rest of the stuff out of it. Those two things that were so strong in Boston were not strong in Ottawa.
Talk about mindset. Can you get a feel at all for that before the game, or do you have to see how it unfolds?
Right.
To kind of feel?
Yeah, no, I've done that and made that mistake before by trying to predict by just the energy. That's a mistake. No, but I'll tell you what, 5 or 6 or 7 shifts in, you get a sense of it on the bench. I'm sure you guys do watching. And you try everything you can do to try to change that state, because that state, if it continues, doesn't usually end up very well. And I actually thought we did in the second period, prior, I think, to the 4-on-4, about the first 12, 13 minutes, although we weren't great, we played most of the period in their end. They weren't coming at us, and then, things went sideways quickly.
I heard the comments post-game about their entries. Is there a kind of a checklist, or is it an example of, we talked before, of, one thing happens and it goes
Right.
and it goes and goes?
Yeah, so we didn't sustain a lot of ozone. We didn't have a lot of physicality on the forecheck because we weren't there first. They got some defensemen that skate pretty well. So what happens is they make a quick play and then they turn, and now we're chasing them up the ice. So it's not 2-on-2 or 3-on-3. They've got 4. We might have 2. We might have 3. We might be chasing. It's more difficult for our defensemen then to sort out what they're feeling. If we would go in and hit on the forecheck, eliminate their first guy, now it gets pretty easy coming back.
Jim, you've been around a long time and kind of seen teams change systems or alter systems, which you guys have tried to do this year. When does it become part of the DNA where you're not having a second thought?
Oh, I would say we were there already. It probably happened for me faster than I thought, but through our preseason games, we saw some really good signs. Then we threw, everybody in our last 2 preseason games against Boston and Florida. They had strong lineups as well. Good hockey games. Not much going on, which is kind of what you want at times as coaches. And then we saw it again in Boston. So it's there. It's just a matter of willingness, systems aside, to have that work ethic, that determination every night. Doesn't matter what system you play. But as far as how we're executing, we feel good about that. Yeah.
There was maybe a real positive from yesterday. I'm sure it was the power play. Do you like how that top unit especially moved the puck around on the minute maid?
I thought in Boston we had a good night in the power play. I know Phil's unit scored late, so it wasn't credited as a power play goal, but I thought we really had some good looks. And Swayman was the difference that night on our power play. But great to see it go in. You can have good looks, but guess what? Everybody wants one in the back of the net, players included. So nice to see Kevin get one on the power play. Nice to see Kempe get one on the power play. And then, of course, that was probably the only bright spot from our game as a whole.